This third generation C4 is a far more creditable offering for Citroen in the family hatchback sector, and the French brand hopes can play its part in rejuvenating this segment by integrating SUV style and the option of full electric power into traditional family hatch design. Plus there's a clever suspension system to make this contender feel really Citroen-esque.
Whether you prefer this third generation C4 hatch with full electric drive, diesel power or the PureTech petrol unit we're trying here, you'll find it offers an uber laid-back approach to what a C-segment hatch should be. Primarily this comes courtesy of what Citroen calls its advanced comfort program. The pillars behind that are more thickly padded advanced comfort seats, and rather more significantly the brand's heavily patented progressive hydraulic cushion suspension. Here the car's springs and shock absorbers work in concert with hydraulic compression and rebound stops, which are supposed to slow body movement over bumps and tarmac tears. It's not quite as good as an air suspended setup, but in terms of ride comfort from conventional springs, it's the best setup that we've tried. But it's not one conducive to cutting-edge levels of handling or body control. That's not the kind of thing that this Citroen really prioritises, although it doesn't float about through the turns as much as you might fear it would. And what you're compensated with is exemplary cruising refinement, even in the combustion engine models. There are 5 of those, a trio of PureTech variants using Citroen's familiar 3-cylinder 1.2 litre petrol turbo engine. It comes in either a 100 horsepower manual guise, the 130 horsepower form we're trying here with manual or 8-speed E88 auto transmission, or in an auto-only 155 horsepower state of tune. Citroen also offers a couple of versions of its 1.5 litre Blue HDI diesel, a manual gearbox 110 horsepower model and an auto-only 130 horsepower derivative. As for the full electric EC4 variant, well, that uses a 134 horsepower electric motor powered by a 50 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery, and it boasts a 217 mile WLTP driving range. Charging takes around 7.5 hours from a 32 amp home wall box. Those who prefer to buy forward motion from a fuel station rather than from a plug socket may want to know that this PureTech 130 Auto petrol model returns WLTP stats of up to 50.3 mpg on the combined cycle and 130 grams per kilometre of CO2. So how is Citroen going to be Citroen? Different, individual and trend-setting in the modern family hatch market? Well, the individualist look for this third generation C4 gives us our answer to that question. The idea with this C-segment family hatch 5-door is to deliver the crossover look that the European market currently craves, but without the traditional SUV drawbacks which lead to inefficiency, so things like a big frontal area and an overly raised ride height. This is the result, ostensibly a family hatch, but almost an SUV coupe in the style of, say, a Kia Exceed or a Toyota CHR. It's an interesting look, no question. This generation of C4 has been called the most individualist family car to wear this maker's double chevron badge since Citroen's GS model of the 70s. And if you're old enough to remember that car, then you might conceivably recognise elements of it here in the rear three-quarter view. There's also plenty of signature Citroen design, much of it borrowed from the brand's most recent C-Experience, AMI 1 and 1919 concept cars, particularly at the front, where the bonnet is high and horizontal and the V-shaped lighting design is evolved from the company's previous double-stage headlight signature. In profile, you'll notice the swept-back rear roofline, the interesting kink at the base of the rear C-pillar, and the large wheels, which can, as here, be up to 18 inches in size. Overall, it's a good-looking car, designed by the stylists who fashioned Citroen's last truly innovative model, the C6. Interesting details are everywhere, especially here at the back, where the two-piece rear window claims inspiration from the C4 Coupe of 2004, with a rear spoiler which splits the tailgate glass. Right, time to take a look inside. Now, people often like quirky looks. They tend to be less forgiving of quirky cabins. Citroen, of course, describes this interior differently as being comfortable and cosy. Well, it will certainly be comfortable if you stretch the model with these thicker advanced comfort seats. Now, we're going to brief you on those in a moment, on which you perch with that slightly higher vantage point ahead that we mentioned earlier on. Through this oddly shaped three-spoke wheel, you view a pared back version of the quite innovative digital instrument panel that's used in the brand's C5 Aircross SUV, whose readouts you flip through here by jabbing the left indicator stalk. The lower part of the centre console here stretches broadly away in front of you into a deep, smartly backlit area at the base of the centre stack, and that's topped by this large, glossy 10-inch infotainment touchscreen, which includes virtually all the media features that you could need. Plus, there's very little to fault about the ergonomics here, unless you object to the slightly restricted view rearwards, and that comes as part of Citroen's decision to fit that split rear tailgate screen. Let's take a look in the rear. Our expectations here weren't actually that high, to be honest. This C4 is 4.35 metres long, and that's not huge for a Focus-sized hatch. But once inside, the space is actually quite reasonable on the rear seat. Citroen reckons that knee room back here is close to being best in class, which isn't true at all, but it is pretty close to the class standard, and it'll be fine for a couple of adults on medium-length trips. Let's take a look out back. There's no powered tailgate option. It's a pity because this hatch is quite heavy to lift. Still, at least the boot is reasonably sized at 380 litres. That's about the same as a Focus or a Golf, although the fact that this model's Peugeot 308 close cousin can give you 32 litres more betrays that car's use of a more class-appropriate basic platform. At least the capacity you do get is the same whether you choose this car with a combustion engine or with full electric power. Push forward the 60-40 split backrest and you can improve the space on offer to 1,250 litres. Whatever drivetrain you choose for it, this third generation C4 certainly ticks the two currently trending themes of crossover style and electrified power. Yet we think it delivers them within a family hatchback package that traditional buyers in this segment can be comfortable with. And comfort here is, as usual, the Citroen keynote. Travelling comfort, thanks to the progressive hydraulic cushion suspension and the squashy seats. Comfort of the mind, thanks to the soothing cabin ambience. And comfort of use, thanks to the 20 available driving assistance technologies. Now, unless all those things are priorities for you, you probably won't like this car at all. But if they are, or they can be, then you'll probably really appreciate what the brand has tried to do here. Ultimately, what really matters is that what we have here is a proper Citroen with all that means. Thank goodness for that.